Mark Straker speaking. Good afternoon and welcome to our information session from the McGuire Programme. Please feel free to write any questions you may have in the chat box and we'll have a Q&A session at the end. There's also a Google form available. We would encourage you to use that as well, just to tell us where you all are in the world. So what we're going to do this afternoon, we're going to tell you a little brief history about the programme, what happens on a course, what sets the programme apart from other speech therapies, and the amazing support on the programme. But first, just a little bit about me. I've been on the programme for 6 years now. Joined in the wonderful city of Newcastle upon Tyne. I became a coach 2 years later, and now I'm fortunate enough to be training to be a course instructor. Since the programme, I've done things that I would never ever have dreamt of. I've done live TV interviews, spoke at big school assemblies, and I've also spoken to 300 plus people on a big construction site, which I still do to this day. I will just show you a little first day video that I have.
What is your third situation?
Well, I manage a building site, just really speaking to like all of the guys at site at once.
Could you finish with your name, please?
Mark Straker. Mark Straker speaking. Thank you all for attending here this Stutter Safety. I'm the Health and Safety Manager for Scotland for Sir Robert McAlpine. It's great to be back in front of a massive crowd again. The last time I did this was up in Aberdeen. I know quite a lot of you from the exhibition centre in Aberdeen, and we used to do this every month. So last week I went on a 3-day intensive course for stammering, and you'll be wondering why I'm wearing this belt or as you can see there's a big difference in my speech from when I first started the programme to where I am now. And that's down to just hard work and the amazing help and support from this wonderful programme. I'm now going to pass you on to Laura for an introduction.
Laura Logan's my name. Hi everyone. So I've been on the programme now just over 4 years, and what a transformation in not only my speech but in my whole life. So if you had met me before the programme, you might not have known that I had a stammer, because I was incredibly good at hiding it, and my whole life mission was to just hide the fact that I had a stutter. I was very, very good at avoiding situations. So I would never ever answer the phone, or if I had to, it was an absolute disaster. I would avoid lots of different words and sounds, and there was lots of sounds that I really struggled with. And I was always a very shy person. I didn't really like to talk to many people, especially strangers. But fast forward 4 years, and I've done some absolutely amazing things. I've done live radio interviews, big presentations. So I presented at the Brewed Reading, which was incredible. And there's just all these amazing things that I can now do that I couldn't do before. So yeah, like I said, I was very shy, and even just the transformation in my personality and my life is just totally different now that I've managed to put in that time and effort to overcome my stammer, which is what the McGuire Program can really do for you. I will now hand you over to Berry.
Berry Brante. I'm from the Netherlands and I did my first course in February of 2020 in Nijmegen, the Netherlands. Before McGuire, I already was a really confident person, with one exception, and that was my speech. I hated to introduce myself. I didn't want to order anything at a restaurant, so I ordered what I could say instead of what I wanted to say. I also had a job where I had to speak a lot, but I didn't like it. So when I joined the McGuire program to give my speech a push, to speak a lot better at my job, I didn't really think my speech would get better in such a manner. After the McGuire program, my first course, I found out how much situations I avoided. And I've never avoided a single situation since. I sometimes speak for 60 to 80 people now. I was on a television program. I've been in newspapers. And I'm just enjoying speaking. I'm going to give it over to Soa now.
So Hakat, hi everyone. I'm live streaming from Cairo, Egypt, the land of the pyramids. My first course was in December 2020, the first online course organized by UK region. Before the McGuire program, I was living a double life. At times, I was able to hide my stammer, just like Laura, while at other times, I simply couldn't, exactly like Mark. Every day, I would wake up in the morning not knowing which version of me would take over. My stammer controlled me, controlled how I would react, when and how to speak. This all changed after joining the McGuire program. Since then, I did 3 TV interviews to spread awareness on stammering. I helped charter a Toastmasters club to which I'm the current president. Into my 4th year on the McGuire program, I'm still working on my speech, putting in the needed time and effort in order to maintain my gains and move a step forward every day. I'm currently a certified coach, working my way to become a certified course instructor. I'm also privileged to be on the team of regional directors in the MENA region. I'm paying it forward, helping others who stammer while working on my own speech. What you see right now is the best version of myself. It's my true self. Over to you, Mark.
Thank you, Soha. Just another reminder, if anyone has any comments, feel free to put them in the chat box. And there'll be a Q&A session at the end. where we can pick them up. So I'm just going to give a little brief history about the program. You may have a little understanding about it if you've done any online research. The goal of the program is for people to take control of their stammer and ultimately become articulate and eloquent speakers. Better than fluent speakers, some would say. So a little bit of history. The program was founded by Dave McGuire. And from an early age of 3, Dave's parents knew that he had a stammer, and quite a severe one at that, which again, maybe some of the viewers on here can relate to. Through Dave's senior school years in America, he tried some conventional speech therapies which didn't work, and even some hypnosis in Beverly Hills, which again ultimately didn't work. Dave then was introduced to Dr. Joseph Sheehan, at the time one of the world-renowned speech therapists. And Sheehan taught psychological aspects of stammering, even some non- or voluntary stammering. Dave then travelled to Europe to meet some friends and to play some clay court tennis, which at the time he was getting quite good at. At that time, he was introduced to some costal breathing techniques which opera singers use. Some of the best public speakers in the world also use costal breathing. In 1994, Dave put all of these pieces together from Sheehan's psychological aspects, costal breathing, and other things, and voila, the McGuire Program was born. Dave got his first student from the British Stammering Association, and then after that, word soon spread. Dave was jet setting all over the world to help people take control of their speech. Returning members then were assisting Dave, and he soon had to train them to become certified coaches and course instructors. And as this continued, Dave then had to train up staff trainers and appoint regional directors because the program was getting so big all over the world. And since then, we're almost 30 years old, and we've helped almost 10,000 people take control of their speech and continue to do so today. We're the only program for stammerers taught solely by stammerers, and it's genuinely amazing. I'm going to hand you over now to Berry to tell us what sets the program apart.
Berry Brante. What sets the program apart from other speech therapies? That was the first question that I had when I came across McGuire. I had tried so many different types of therapies that I didn't believe any would work. But during the years, I found out what was different. It's a speech therapy that is run and taught entirely by people who stammer, which is exactly why it is so successful. Because it is those people that stammer themselves are usually the best people to teach it to others. And what better way to learn something than to teach it to others? It's a really nice feeling to be in McGuire and everybody on the program, from the grads, the coaches, course instructors, regional directors, and even the person that started it all. They all know exactly what you are feeling, and they all started at the same point. And they know exactly what you are feeling and what you can do to take control over your stammer. And dare I say, have fun speaking. Especially the last part, have fun speaking. I would never have dreamt to ever have fun speaking. Regarding the McGuire program, the program itself, it's not a cure. And unfortunately, there is no magic pill, but it teaches us to become great, articulate speakers that can talk really eloquent, and that's way better than being fluent. It teaches us to take control of our physical and our psychological parts of our stammer. And we always compare it to an iceberg. Everybody only sees the part that's above the water. That's the physical part of the stammer. The freezing, the struggling, distortion, that in turn takes the form of tricks and avoidance. But the biggest part of the stammer is the psychological part. It's the guilt, the shame, the self-hate, sense of isolation, low self-esteem. But the best part about the program is our support, our worldwide support. There's not an hour in the day that you can't call a coach when you need one. Even if it's in the middle of the night, you can call to somebody on the other side of the planet. But more of this, that Soa will tell you later on. I will give it back to Mark.
Thank you, Barry. Again, just a reminder to everyone who is watching, please feel free to put any questions you have in the chat, and we'll be happy to do a Q&A at the end. Now I'm going to pass you on to Laura to tell us a bit about what happens on a course.
Laura Logan. I'm going to be talking about what happens on a course. It is a frequently asked question and a very important one at that. So if you're anything like me, before I joined the program, I spent months and years wondering, can I get by with my stammer? Am I able to keep hiding this for the rest of my life? And the answer was no. One day I plucked up the courage to join the program and attend a course. And what I was most worried about was, what am I going to be asked to do on a course? So before you join, you'll be attending regular Zooms with your regional director, who is in charge of the program in whichever country or area that you live in. And you'll be getting to meet your course instructors who can answer any questions and ease your nerves ahead of the residential course you'll be attending. A course is usually 3 days long, and they are called intensive courses for the reason that we're going to be asking you to work on your speech and really put aside any outside world distractions, such as your phone and speaking to anyone outside of the program, until the end of the course. So day one of the course, what happens? So you'll be arriving, nerves will be very high, you'll be a bit scared and wondering what's next. As you've seen Mark show, we will be asking you a lot of questions, and these will be recorded as a video, which we can use to see what type of stammer you have, and therefore the coaches and course instructors on the program can learn how we can best help you. So you'll be asked a lot of questions, and then on the next morning is physical day. This is where we begin to learn our new tools and techniques to help overcome the physical side of stammering. The very long days, each day can be up to 13 hours. However, what we're trying to do on these courses is squeeze in a year's worth of speech therapy into 3 days. That's why the long days, they're intense and it is difficult. However, what you have to remember is why you're doing it. If you think that us four are really good speakers, we've all been through the process along with thousands of other people, and it really does work. So day 2 is working on the physical side of your stammer. Day 3 is where we look at the psychological side of your stammer, which personally for me was the most influential because, like I said earlier, I could hide my stammer really well, and a lot of people asked me, why did you join the program? Because you sounded good before. But what I always told people was I never ever liked to be seen as a stammerer. I always wanted to hide and look like a fluent speaker. So that's day 2 rather. And then on our last day, this is where we bring it all together. And if you haven't already been having fun speaking on the course, the last day is where it really, really comes together, and we can take our new tools and our new techniques out into the real world, and you can see how well it works. So that's the general structure of a course. And then after your first course, you then have access to be able to attend as many courses as you like throughout the world. And we do recommend you attend a refresher course, which is usually held within the first year of your joining, just to really reiterate all of those tools and techniques which you'll be learning, because you will get a lot of information thrown at you during those 3 days on the course. And I believe that's everything. So I'm going to hand it back over to Mark. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Laura. See a couple of questions coming in, which is great. Please feel free, guys, to keep on popping the questions in, and we'll get to them at the end. I'm going to hand you over now to Soha to discuss the wonderful support that we offer.
So, Hakat, so far you've heard how the course is structured and what to expect during a 3-day intensive course. What you haven't yet heard, leaving the best to last, is how our support network is second to none. Support starts before the course and lasts a lifetime. Before the course, there'll be 1 to 2 Zoom meetings where the new students meet the course team, the course instructor, and a few coaches that will be attending the course. This will help you feel more at ease and let you know what to expect on the course. On the final day of the course, depending on the region you're in, you will be assigned 1 or 2 coaches who you will be able to contact as much as you want and as long as you need. I still speak to my students on a regular basis. Your primary coaches are chosen based on your personality, type of speech, and possible location to you. Your coaches are your first port of call if you are experiencing problems or just need a bit of encouragement. The first few weeks and months are very critical. When things get tough, you may find temptation to resort back to old habits. When this happens, your coaches will be a phone call away to ensure that you get back on the right track. In addition to your primary coaches, you'll have access to over 230 coaches around the world who speak different languages. Using various apps, you'll have the opportunity to contact people from Germany, Ireland, Scandinavia, MENA region, USA, India, Australia, and many more. You are strongly advised to contact these coaches to practice with them and ask for their advice to continue your speech development. You can always depend on the coaches. If you need to practice for a job interview, a meeting, having a presentation, hopefully you will soon be able to just call them up and see how they're doing. These coaches will become lifelong friends, just like the people standing next to me. We know that the transition from being on a course going to the real world may be challenging. That's why after your first course and for 2 weeks, we'll be having Zoom meetings with one of the course team and the new students for an hour every evening, where we will refresh all you have learned on the course. We will also be following up on how you're doing after the course, discussing any challenges you might have faced, and give advice on how to handle that based on our own experiences. These sessions are so important to keep you focused and moving forward. After the first 2 weeks, you'll be able to attend support groups, both in person in your region and online in different regions around the world, where we all come together with the sole goal of working on our speech and helping each other out. After my first course, I traveled the world while sitting on my chair, attending support groups from the US all the way to India. No matter I was asked to speak about support. Depending on your region, before, during, or after your first course, you'll be added to the McGuire Forum, groups.io. This is a platform where over 1,000 members, including graduates, coaches, course instructors, and regional directors, connect with one another despite the geographical boundaries. On this forum, you'll have access to the International Coaches Contacts List, which has contact details of all coaches around the world. You'll have access to a calendar of day-to-day support meetings happening around the world, both in person and online. You'll also have access to inspiring and motivating stories from grads around the world that will top up your enthusiasm when things get tough. You'll find discussion boards and a library of documents with helpful hints and tips on how to keep on top of your speech. The support network also includes unlimited attendance on any course in the world for the rest of your life. You don't have to do this alone. You don't have to overcome stammering alone. The McGuire Program, with its unique, lifelong, worldwide support network, will be there for you every step throughout your journey to overcome your stammer and discover your true self. Over to you, Mark.
Thank you, everyone. Now, that concludes the information that we are going to give you this afternoon. Hope you have found it useful. We'll just pick up on any questions that we'll have in the question section. So we have got a question. Hi, my son is 11. Will the online classes help him? Laura.
Hi, Ahmed. Thank you so much for this question. Yes, what we would recommend is if you could go to our website and register your interest and reach out to us, and your local regional director can get in touch. And usually it is an individual basis. If it's an under 18, every regional director will have conversations with you and your son and see whether it's the right time or not. So yes, if you could please go to the website, register your interest and complete the Google forms that we've got your information. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Laura. Can people pay for the course in installments? And do the program itself provide a payment plan or scholarships? Barry, would you take that one?
Barry Brante. Thanks for the question, Dwayne. There isn't really a payment plan. You could contact your regional director, or you just use the contact form. But I know you already are in contact with Emmett O'Connell, so talk to him about maybe a scholarship. But I have to say, when you pay it, the payment for the course itself, you have a lifelong support that you can attend. And I think after you've done it, it's the easiest, how do I say, the course fee that you have ever done. So I wouldn't doubt about it.
Thank you, Barry. How successful is the program? So how would you like to take that one?
So Hakat, thank you, Barry. Thank you, Mark. In 2023, the average success rate throughout the regions was 80%. You might be wondering, what is this success rate and how do we calculate it? Well, after a year, from a year to a year and a half, we contact all the graduates, all those who had taken the course, and by asking them small questions and having a short conversation with them, we then evaluate whether or not it was successful. And 80% of people who had attended the McGuire program think that the McGuire program is a success and has helped them. Over to you, Mark.
Thank you, Soha. Question: what evidence is there that this technique works? Is it not just another trick? I think the evidence, thank you for the question, Michael. The evidence is obviously demonstrated in a couple of ways. One, the success rate. That's in terms of different and more conventional speech therapies, that's a really amazing success rate. And I think the biggest thing is that the amazing support. On a course, there are hundreds of people who keep on coming back and back to work on the speech again, and they wouldn't do that if the course wasn't successful.
Can I add something more?
Certainly.
The second part of his question is it not just another trick? And what we can say about that is we do not use tricks. We have techniques, but it's probably too short of a time to go into the techniques. But when we talk with our techniques, we show people that we are working on our speech. But I would definitely not call that a trick. Back to you, Mark.
And Mark, could I please add something?
Certainly.
Thank you. About the success rate, when I said it's 80% successful and that 80% of the people think that the McGuire program is successful. I had to mention that those who put in the needed time and effort and are committed to really focusing and making this their top priority, working hard and following directions, then yes, it is guaranteed to be a success. But those who, as Mark and Barry had mentioned, come on the program thinking that it's a quick fix. They'll just come in, attend an intensive course, and then not have to do anything, thinking that they're cured from stammer, then no. They'll realize that it's not successful. So success or not, it depends on the individual, his commitment, his time and effort. Over to you, Mark.
Thank you. Another question. My stutter is not that bad. I know it can help severe stutterers, but can it really help me? Define severe stutterer, I think, is the first point of that. There are two very different types of stutterers. An overt stutterer who, a bit like myself, who couldn't hide the fact that I had a stammer. But there are covert stutterers like Laura was. The program can help everybody. It's just such an amazing program. It's diverse and it can help both types of stammers, both overt and covert, regardless of the severity. I don't know if anyone else would like to add anything on that point.
Barry Brante. For myself, I was a medium severe stutterer. And I think if you just put in the time and effort, I know it's different. The process is different from a severe stutterer and a mild severe stutterer or a mild stutterer. Because for the one, they probably had some great days. And probably when they have the good days, because as stammerers, we know we all have good days and we have bad days. And during the good days, you think, oh, this is going pretty okay. But a severe stutterer has only bad days or less bad days. For myself, it took some time, but just put in the time and effort and you will get through it.
Thank you, Barry.
Laura Logan, can I just also jump in, Mark? So yes, I really like this question, Matt. So thank you for sending it in. Like I was explaining in my section, and if you missed it, I was perceived as being fluent and a normal speaker before I joined the program by everyone in my life. It was only really myself and my friends and family who knew that I had a stammer, because I could hide it very, very well. And it only really came up in certain situations like answering the phone or giving presentations. If I was asked to read aloud or answer a question in school, that's when I would just block up and I couldn't get any words or any sounds out. So I was very good at hiding it, and the program has done wonders for me and my speech, because now no situation frightens me and I can speak with control anytime that I need. So our program can help people with a very severe stammer and those with very mild ones too.
Thank you. I think that should answer Salman's point as well, actually, just about what do we advise for people who have occasional stuttering and in situations. And I can talk with 100% fluency, but in other situations I can't put two words out. Again,
Can I answer something for Salman?
Of course,
because I definitely identify with Salman's story. I was the same before McGuire, but even in my days where I was fluent, I usually had that little voice in my head talking, when is it going to happen? When am I going to stammer? Like walking through a minefield, just waiting for the time you get blown up. And for myself, I didn't even know how bad it was or how good it is feeling right now to know that I'm never having such a situation, and just speaking the way that I'm speaking right now. That's it. That's the big thing about McGuire. I would never want to go back even to the 100% fluent days.
Thank you, Barry. Anyone else want to add anything?
Laura Logan, yeah, I can do. So, yes, a lot like what I was just mentioned before. Our program, it can help everyone, and I have met a lot of different people on the program. Some people who actually were a lot more fluent than what I was before I joined, and they might just need our tools and techniques in order to do large presentations at work or just in job interviews. Our process really helps everyone. Any sort of stammer, we can help.
Thank
Mark,
you, guys.
could I just add something, please?
Of course.
Thank you. Just to reply to Salman Amir, that like Barry, I too can totally relate to your question. And yes, in our good days, the physical side of stuttering, the tip of the iceberg, we were able to use tricks and avoiding situations, and therefore we would be perceived as not being people who stammer. Whereas what's under the iceberg, what's under the surface, the psychological side of stuttering, whether it's a good day or a bad day, it was all full of negative emotions. So yes, even if you can hide it like Laura did, and half of the time like me and Barry, but there was still inner conflict, inner struggle. And this is what is beautiful about the McGuire program. It doesn't only work on the physical side of stuttering, which is the blocking and everything that other people can see, but it also works on the psychological side of stuttering and relieves us from all the negative emotions and the internal struggles we face every time we speak or every time we don't speak. It's always there inside of us. Back to you, Mark.
Thank you, Soha. Question, Ahmed. Laura, if you could take this one. How do we breathe properly in stuttering?
That is quite a tricky question. I don't think I can answer that one. I'd have to get back to you. But with our program and our technique, we learn costal breathing. So we learn how to breathe using a different diaphragm to what you normal fluent speakers use every day. So you use your crural diaphragm, which is often subject to freezing if you get nervous or if you've got a stammer, and that's why often you're ready to actually say the word, but all that air ends up getting blocked in your chest or in your throat. So we breathe through our costal diaphragm, which is why you might hear me do this inhalation and then an exhale at the end. And our costal diaphragm will not freeze if we are fearful.
Thank you, Laura. There's no more questions, guys, so I think that will conclude our information session. Just a final reminder, hopefully everyone watching's filled in the Google form. Thank you all for putting up a question, and we hope you enjoyed it, guys. So thank you very much. Bye for now.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye for now.
Thanks for attending.
Bye.